Our friend from California, Mr. Miller.
Gentleman from California is recognized.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. I thank all of my colleagues who have participated in this debate. At a time when the middle class standard of living in America for millions of Americans is at greater risk than at any time in recent history, at a time when people see employers arbitrarily terminating their pensions, freezing their pensions, shifting the cost of their health insurance, cutting the benefits under health insurance, at a time when they see that they have no new money to take home in their wages, that the wages have been flat, at a time when CEOs are awarding themselves golden handshakes, golden parachutes, and golden hellos worth hundreds of millions of dollars, at that time, at that moment, we have an opportunity here to redeem a provision of the law which has been in the law for 70 years, to simply give the workers a choice. They can choose an NLRB election, or they can choose a majority sign-off. That's a simple choice that these adults in the workplace can make. It's a choice that was given to them 70 years ago. It was a choice that then later was taken away by a veto of the employer. Imagine a majority of Americans get together and they do something, and one person gets to veto it. One person gets to veto it in the workplace. Think of what the relationship is between that employer and those employees. Think about how those employees must have felt that they needed to organize in their workplace. Because employees know that they do if they're going to stop the trend and the bleeding that they see today against the benefits that they have at workplace, against their salaries, against their hours at work, against their right to retirement nest egg that means something. Every day you pick up the business journals of this country and you read where, again, another employer has terminated a pension, has restricted the pension, won't pay into the pension, puts their pensions into bankruptcy. You want to know why people need card check? People need card checks so they can have the freedom of choice to choose. Do they want an election? Do they want a card check? It's in the National Labor Relations Act today. It is the law, but for the veto of the employer. How more arbitrary can you possibly get that a single employer could override the desires of a majority of the employees in his workplace? How more arbitrary can you get? It's the same arbitrariness those employers show when they cut your health care benefits and your pensions and your retirements without any say by the employees, without any negotiations. That's why millions of Americans want representation at work, so that they can have a voice in that workplace. They can have a voice in their future. They can have a voice in whether or not they're going to be able to buy a home, buy a car, educate their children, have a health care policy that they can afford that will be there when they need it. That's what this is really about. This is about whether or not we're going to strengthen and help maintain and grow the middle class in this country, because it's not happening under the arbitrary policies that are imposed on workers today by their employers. And the Employee Free Choice Act, this Employee Free Choice Act, gives the workers that choice, the choice that is currently in the law. I urge my colleagues to vote in support of this legislation when it comes time for passage. And again, I thank all of my colleagues for participating in the debate, and I thank the chair for the courtesy they've shown both sides.